Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. I think the music must automatically turn off like after 10 minutes or so. So that's kind of my time to know to be getting on the air. Um, Welcome to anyone who is here. I'm assuming you can hear me. My audio output looks fine on OBS. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. I think the music must Sorry about that. There was an echo there. I was just testing to make sure my audio worked. Welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well this Monday morning. I think tomorrow is a holiday, which is kind of weird in the U.S. We have a Tuesday holiday. I believe it's Veterans Day. Someone told me that yesterday. I've actually been working from home before COVID, so it's like hard for me to keep up with these holidays sometimes because it's like almost every day is a holiday when you're working from home. It feels like. But welcome. Today we're going to do like a market rundown. Again, this broadcast is sponsored by CRM, cryptorugmunch. If you haven't gotten into our tokens yet, please do so. We will go over the chart today for CRM, and I'll give you a little bit of an update before the AMA today as well on the project. But first, let's kind of just get into the market here, and we'll look at the market and see what's going on. And then I'll kind of, as we go through the market, I'll kind of look at our project's chart as well, too. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Kind of updated the logo, too, on our broadcast here. I am showing the Get CRM, kind of refined that logo a little bit. And I think I'm going to add as well with the @CryptoRugmunch, I'll add some logos for YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble as well there. So I do have those screen names under my control. So welcome, everyone. If you're here, let's kind of get started. I'm going to start by just kind of looking at the market here by going to CoinMarketCap. So I'll switch you guys over. Doesn't seem very active in the chat today, but I'll turn off the chat while we do that just for a minute. And I'm going to kind of zoom in on the page and give you a better view with what's happening today. It does look like we're back comfortably above 100K with Bitcoin, which is good to see. We're at 105,000 right now here. And, yeah, that's what we're wanting to see. I mean, we're not wanting to see Bitcoin drop below 100,000 and hold it with conviction, right? So it's good to see a little bit of recovery with the Bitcoin price as well, too. Okay, let's look at some other tokens here and just see how the market's doing. I mean, it does look like some alts are doing pretty well today. I did see Hedera. If anyone wants to look at that, Hedera, I think, is like a Google-backed project, or it was. This project's up 8% on the day, 9% on the day, doing pretty well today. Looks like, Uniswap's up 5%. World Liberty Finance, interestingly enough, is up today as well. Let's just like look at their chart real quick here and see how that has done. And again, this is a Trump backed project. It still if we look at the all-time chart here, it still has not recovered its all-time high. But it is up today on the day. What was it? 25% on the day. So good. Good to see that from World Liberty Financial. If you're a holder of this token, and I did see the Trump meme coin. For any fans of that, is up as well today. I don't know if there's news around this here. Let's see if there's some news. Don't really see anything in the Coinbase news ticker there. But again, up on the day it says 13% now. So again, 13% up on the day. For Trump coin, for any holders of that still out there. It looks like, everything, like some of these security coins are down a little bit. Let's see how Zcash is doing today. Zcash is down 10% on the day. And again, we kind of talked on Friday how about some of these privacy coins might be a little bit heated at this time, right? I'm trying to get that so you can see the price today. What is it? 585.46 there. So again, that token is not doing as well as it was last week. Maybe topped out a little bit. People are taking some profits and stuff on that. So. Okay, any other tokens I want to look over with you here before we go on? I don't really see a lot. It looks like kind of like the markets are a little bit mixed across the board. Like nothing's doing too amazing like it was on Friday. You do see Hedera there up, and then World Liberty is up quite a bit. Other than that, in the top 100, not seeing a lot of runners in the top 100 right now. All right, let's look if we could. Now, I do want to look at the CRM chart for you, since again, this broadcast is sponsored by our token. The chart today, we actually did see a bit of a dip into the 100Ks yesterday. We got down to like 1.7, and that dip was because of a whale. And I actually knew who the whale was because it was one of our earlier whales in the project. So they had given me their wallet address so I could kind of cross-reference that and see, because they were in the whale chat. So they did speak to another whale and said that they had a personal issue and they would be back to the project at some point. So the dip did get pretty much immediately eaten there, it looks like, by the community. I also bought the dip on the project as well on behalf of the DAO yesterday. You can see here I put in it was 1.25 SOL, but it ended up, with the tax on the token and the 2% tax there, it comes to like the 1.239 SOL that I bought yesterday. It gave us, I think, somewhere near 1 million tokens more added to the DAO there. So again, I do look for these opportunities to accumulate more of the project on the dips when funds are available. Those funds had come from our earnings the DAO had earned in like the last week or so. So we're not earning like a ton of money to like to buy the project right now, but when there's chances available, I will do that. I'm kind of looking to preserve some funds here. We're still kind of up in the air with our coin market cap listing. I've kind of been talking to the whales this morning and trying to decide what we want to do with that situation. So yeah, I'm still not 100% yet what we're gonna do, but whether we will do marketing, before pursuing CMC more, or what I'm kind of frustrated with the person who's working on that with us as well right now. But I do intend to keep pursuing it, guys. It's not something I'm gonna like give up on, right? I do think our project's worthy of being on CoinMarketCap, considering some of the other garbage that gets listed out there. But we kind of did a vote, or someone put up a vote this weekend in the whale chat, and the vote was CMC or marketing, and it seemed like the overwhelming preference on that was marketing. So maybe like we pursue marketing and then get the funds and then pay CMC their required ask to be listed, because it's quite expensive. Guys, it's like a $5,000 fee to do this, and it's either we do marketing or we do that, the CMC listing. And I want to be sure that if we put funds to use, we're going to, generate revenue to get them back. So I'm not quite sure that like spending $5,000 on CMC listing really is going to guarantee we get that revenue back or not. So it's kind of something I'm talking about. Maybe I'll have more of an announcement for you on the AMA day tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. Just wanted to remind everyone also in relationship to the project, we still have this contest going. I do intend to wrap this up tomorrow. Entry requirements are pretty simple. Just find an ongoing scam and then post it here below with some evidence, right? That it is a scam. The person with the most interactions, natural interactions, mind you, is the winner of this contest, and you receive $100 worth of CRM. We do intend to make this a regular thing with our Rug Bounty program. We do intend to like continue to offer this to the community as a way to kind of give back to the community and to generate some content for our page as well too, right? Because sometimes like when the market's dead, there's a lack of content, and there are active scams. It's just they don't always get noticed. So maybe this will be a way for them to be noticed, right? Because there's some potential to earn some profit here for people who participate. Okay. Anything else here? I'm gonna go back to the charts here. And again, I'm happy that the community recovered this price for us here. I still think ahead of marketing, ahead of CMC listing, the price right now is a good buy right now for the project, right? If you have faith in what we're doing. I do plan to have the Discord launched before the AMA, as well as a website update for the community as well too, if you're kind of waiting on that. So that's kind of my CRM update for the day. Again, our token, we have CRM on Solana, and then if you're interested in our Zora token, you can head over to zora.co/@cryptorugmunch, and you can buy our token there on Zora. Right. And on Zora, our market cap is quite low compared to what it is on Solana. And I do feel like these values will somewhat be equalized eventually over time. It's just right now people are probably a little more comfortable trading on Solana. And once we get like a liquidity pool launch for this, and once we get this listed on CoinGecko, for example, I do expect this this market cap to grow, and I do intend to support this project just as much as I intend to support the Solana project. You know, I do intend to eventually get a CoinMarketCap listing, and this will be our project, which eventually we are given 50% of the supply in this project over time. Through DYOR, and it's a 5-year vesting period, but we plan to use these funds to finance the DAO, to do airdrops, things like this as the project moves forward. So this will be like an integral part of our project in the future. So you know, it's still kind of early with this one maybe, but I do believe in the future like the values will normalize at some point between the two tokens. Okay, that's kind of my plug for CRM, our cryptorugmunch on Zora. If you haven't gotten either token yet, please get involved. We are a good community. I've got like maybe 3% of the supply, 2% of the supply in 2 wallets for CRM, and I am trying to accumulate, but not on my own behalf, right? For the community, I intend to do not an airdrop, a exchange listings with this next year, for example. So any accumulation I'm doing is not for my own benefit, right? It's for the community, and it's being done in public wallets. So we're an honest project trying to build security tools for the community. 50% of all fees in this token traded go back into the community, right? We are a community-run project. I work on behalf of the community, right? If they don't like something in the project, I try to make adjustments for them. Try to listen what they say, right? So it's a creator coin, but a community-backed creator coin, right? Where I'm working on behalf of the community to get these things done for the project, right? I don't consider myself to be a lazy dev or anything like this, right? Some of these creators kind of sit on their laurels and do nothing for their communities, and I intend to like kind of reverse that trend with creator tokens. And I hope you know, people can kind of see the work I'm doing behind the scenes here, whether it be this broadcast, or you know, adding to the website, or creating a Discord, right? Any these are all suggestions that have been given to me by the community, right? And I'm acting upon them at their behalf, right? So I want to make this as good as I can for the community. I understand that these delays are frustrating, right? It really amounts to me trying to save the project money so we have funds for other things like developing our app or marketing, rather than paying you know, Binance-controlled CoinMarketCap a $5,000 bribe, essentially, right? So that's kind of what I was trying to avoid, and maybe it's unavoidable. You know, maybe that will be unavoidable, but we will get it done for the community. And I asked you to support us during this time, right? While we work through this. Okay. Anything else? Let's kind of go on then here. Let's look at a few tokens that are trending today on the website on Deck Screener here. I'm just going to pick the number 1 trending token here to start us off and see what this thing is. And we'll look at these newer tokens. I mean, this thing looks rugged already. It's called Chosen Systems Privacy. And to me, what this looks like is a scam based on the privacy token trend, right? But let's just have a look at their Twitter account here, or their X account, and see what it says. Okay, from vision to reality, Chosen will define the next Solana way, right? And what it appears to me they've done is they've lazily generated a few graphics here, you know, posted for a couple days, and then rugged the token, right? And they've you know, these graphics all look very, you know, simplistic here. It's not like they're putting a lot of time, effort, or anything. These are all AI generated. Anyone can generate these kind of graphics, guys. If you know about like Image GPT or any of these AI tools, this is not like challenging work to do. So they're putting together like a little website for you, make you look like they're legit, right? They have a website, but I'm not going to visit. They have 185 followers. Again, this is another thing. We saw this account created in 2020. Obviously, this account couldn't have been created in 2020 because, right, they started this project just like in the last 24 hours. So again, obvious scam here from Chosen. It looks like a bundled rug, and it only ran, you know, 8 hours or so, right, before they rugged it. Got to I don't know, what it 2 million in market cap or something like that, and then it rugged. So, and it had volume 4.7 million. I would assume some of this is botted volume as well, with a token like this. let's see if if there's anyone in the chat here. I'm gonna pull back the chat up if we can, see if anyone's out there. No one's here. No, there's no one chatting today. Really, I don't see many chatters. If you're out there, give a shout out. Say hello. Say hello. And say that you can hear me. Say that you can hear our broadcast. I think you can though. I think you can if you're listening. You can hear the broadcast. I'm not seeing very many active chatters though today. Friday we had quite a bit of people chatting here. I'll leave the chat up though if anyone wants to chat here while we look through this. If you have a token you want me to look at, feel free to shout it out. I'm happy to look over some tokens for people here while we do this broadcast. Okay, let's look at a few more. So we have Chainpay. What is Chainpay, everyone? Does anyone know what this token is? It's $2.2 million in market cap. Let's check over their Twitter and see what's going on there. It looks like a community. It's like an X community. The world's first AI-powered platform for Web3 finance. And it's a pump token, which doesn't give me much faith. But again, I'd have to look into this more, look at their website. Typically, a project that has some serious... Now, it's only got like just a very bit of activity to it on the community. But typically what you're looking for from like a real legit AI project would not be for it to not be launching on Pump Fund, right? Like they'd have the developers who could deploy a token and not necessarily need Pump Fund to do that for them. So, that's something that catches my eye with this one. Let's just look at the how it's set up on chain, with some of the fresh wallets and stuff. I'll have a look at that on GMGN and just see what's going on there with the fresh wallet. Okay, and again, to look at that, you just pull up the contract address in GMGN, you click Chain Pay. You scroll down. And again, it doesn't really say there's many fresh wallets here. It does say there's a lot of bundlers in this project. It says there's like 300 and something bundler wallets, which mean they were kind of like in at the beginning of the project, right? Which you don't want to see typically in a newer token. And there's only 1.54K holders, and then if 323 of those are bundlers, Mev Trader wallets, Flash bots, right? This is what they're saying for that one. All right, so I mean, some of those might be legit traders looking for a snipe, right? Some of them could be bundlers. We don't really know based on what they've given us. It does say 60% bundled here, right? This when it started, the all-time high bundling was 6, and there's quite a bit of phishing wallets here as well. So not great on this one, really, to be honest. And who knows? It doesn't look like why wouldn't if it's an actual payment app, why wouldn't they have an X account for themselves, right? That seems suspicious as well too for this token. Okay, let's look at a few more. We have ZPay. How's this doing? And it looks like it hit an all-time high of about 1.8 million in the last 24 hours. Again, I think I saw this one on Friday, perhaps, or no, I couldn't have seen it Friday because it just launched yesterday. And again, with something like this, it's kind of playing off the hype on Zcash right now. It says spend Zcash anywhere on Solana, right? And let's see, if that's even a possibility for this project, really. Solaire is a cross-chain payment protocol that allows you to buy assets on Solana privately with native ZEC. Okay. Cool. If it really allows you to do this, great. But I'd like to see a little bit more. I'd probably like to investigate. They have a GitHub too. You'd want to look through their GitHub and see what they're actually building here. Looks like they joined GitHub on November 9th. So it's a relatively new project here. But again, you would like to see a GitHub repository being built out for something like this. And with our project too, guys, we do intend to have a GitHub repository for it, because if you're building a serious app, right, something you want to have. But again, you want to see some entries in here, probably a bit more information than this. But they do have public repositories available here, which any serious project should have. I don't see a website listed Although, yeah, it looks like the website currently links to their GitHub for this project. And again, if you wanted to check like fresh wallets on this one, you go over to GMGen, enter the contract. And this one has like 400 and something fresh wallets in it. Wallets less than 7 days old. And 3.2K holders, 425 fresh wallets. You know, probably a bit supply controlled there with this project. It says 62% bundler wallets, you know, in the project too. Again, their data, you can't rely on this data fully to get a full picture of these projects. You also would want to look like into to Dev's Nightmare Bot on Telegram and probably look at what they're saying, like the team allocation is and what if there's any KOLs involved. This app also has added KOLs as well. I know GMGN has it. They're just not like amazing at really tracking these wallets, but they do list some of them. A lot of the Chinese influencers seem to get listed by GMGN since it's built by, I believe, Chinese speaking devs. So hopefully they add some of the known English speaking KOLs too here to this app in a bit. And again, they list snipers, fresh wallets. I don't like to see like this many fresh wallets, but sometimes, you know, it kind of works out that way where the fresh wallets are added slowly at the beginning, right? And those are typically, you know, up to no good. Not always, though. Not always. Sometimes you buy, you know, you transfer a bit of SOL to a fresh wallet to buy a token. I've done this myself, too. So you got to consider some of those might be legit as well. But typically, you know, the more you see, the less legit it is for a project. Because, not everyone does like this, right? Not everyone's creating a new wallet every time they buy a token or, you know, managing their funds like this. Only certain people do this. Okay, anything else? Kind of is the chat like? Is it working? I usually get more people chatting this. I'm gonna type a message and see if my messages goes up. Can everyone see this? Yeah, I think it's working fine. I just don't think anyone's chatting today. If you can chat, say something. If you can chat, I want to check and make sure we're live, just to make sure we're live here. I believe we are. Yeah, live on X here still. Good. Does anyone make a comment? Nope. Okay. If you can see this, say something so I know that the chat is working, not just for me. Maybe the chat's not working correctly today. But it says it is. Okay. Let's go back to chat's working. Dave, thank you for saying that. Maybe just no one's chatty today. No one's wanting to chat today. Okay. Let's look at a few more. Now this one I actually I have some stake in this one, so it's a bit hard for me to cover this fairly, but I actually don't really like what I've been seeing develop with this project. So I got into Pigger, I believe, on this dip. Like I bought, I'm going to take it out in the chat just for a minute since it's not very active, but I got into Pigger on this dip here on Saturday, I believe. And I made a little money and I took out my initial. I think I took out most of my initial here. And then I've just kind of like let what's left run on it. It wasn't much, guys. It was like a $60 buy. I took out initials like probably around here somewhere yesterday. But since that time, what I've noticed with Pigger, and again, I mean, it would be in my interest to tell you this thing's going to the moon since I have a small bag of it. But what I'm noticing with this token is over time, the fresh wallets have been increasing over time. And like at first when I checked the allocation on this, it looked way better. Yeah, so you can see my buy here. I even bought with GM. So it's like I bought here at like 1.4 mil. So I mean, I'm still above my entry here, and I've taken out my initials. So like I'm not too worried about this, but I'm not liking these fresh wallets kind of piling into this thing. And again, some of these could be natural buys because I am seeing with this one, the holder count has been increasing consistently. It has been increasing consistently. Now, I hope it's not the development team, slowly running fresh wallets into this thing to rug it. But, you never know. That's the risk with a brand new meme. And it's why I don't like trading these new memes, guys. I honestly like trading stuff where I don't have to watch it all day. to make sure it's not going to rug on me. And just, I'm not saying that this project is a runner or anything. It just felt like, maybe this meta could do well, because I did see this meme being posted around X quite a bit. So that was why I bought a little bag of it. I thought it was kind of funny, just this AI pig with this haircut here. So that's why I did personally grab a small bag of it. Now, I'm not saying that you should do the same, because I've just shown you, right, these fresh wallets here. Now, again, we have to assume that every project, in this kind of market condition is going to be somewhat supply controlled too. So it's just a risk. Once you know the setup, if you're okay with that and you think the narrative's going to stick, okay. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. And again, I put nothing into this. I put like $60 in, guys. So don't get crazy with these, these newer projects and think you need to put like your life savings into them or something, because that's how you get wrecked, right? This is a small like gamble essentially, right, with these newer ones. So don't, and the best trades I've had in my time in crypto has been with these smaller with a smaller buy, not when I go all in and risk it all for a small project and then it rugs on me, right? If you lose $60 and you have, you're not doing too poorly financially, it's not going to hurt as much as losing thousands of dollars in something like this, right? So that's, I do play around with these guys, and I'm happy to like share a trade or something that I'm playing around in, but just assume, it's not going to do great at these market caps and these conditions. Once in a while you take a risk, right? You take a risk and you do a trade. So that's a trade I did this weekend. Happy to share it. And again, I'm happy to share negative information that I find too, just to show you guys that I'm not biased, right? I'm not expecting this to do amazing numbers. It's just a trade I'm in right now. And if it does well, I'll look smart later. But if it does poorly, like it's likely to do with these fresh wallets here, probably not a great trade. And I'll probably, if I see it hitting towards my entry point, maybe I'll get out of it. But that'll be when it runs too, right? Like that's just kind of how crypto goes. Sometimes you have to be patient and let things play out a little bit and see how it goes, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with Pigger, not having high expectations. I did think like the market needed a runner. I think like last year at this time, if this project would have came out, even with some bundling in it, probably would have done really well. But the sentiment just isn't there for memes right now as much as it was. So yeah, that's my small meme trade right now. Anyone else in Pigger in the chat here? Anyone in Pigger? Anyone buy this token or what's your opinion on it? All right, I'll look at a few more now. Bangers, it looks like has done well too. And again, I saw this one was bundled up, guys. Now this became popular because on X they introduced like an account called like Bangers or something, where they're like gonna post like witty replies that have been seen on X, right? And I think this project actually was like kind of created before the account somehow, so like it got some popularity based on that. Again, this is like kind of a news event timed token, in my opinion. Like I don't think it's gonna do well necessarily in the long run. And if you want to like look over the allocation on this one real quick, get out of Pigger here and look at the allocation on Banger. 820 fresh wallets out of 5,000 holders. 1/5, almost a fifth of the holders are fresh wallets in this thing. Not a good sign for the long-term viability of the project, in my opinion. Okay. Any other tokens here in the top? Now, this thing's been around for a while. I'm kind of like surprised this hasn't rugged. I actually called this a bundle rug because it is bundled to high hell. I am surprised it stuck around. It's got 100 million in market cap, but only 1 million in liquidity in it. And let's look at their website here. United States Crypto Reserve, America leads, America wins. Okay, so there's like a nationalist style like token, and it does look like they like continue to do some development work on it. Their last post was November 3rd. Not like, so they're not like posting a lot here for this project. And again, I did see this was like just horribly bundled. Today we purchased 1 million. A bold start as America takes lead in the crypto future. Is this what they purchased? This. I don't know. I don't know if they hold this much of any token, but let's look at their allocate, how it's allocated right now. 34 days old. Again, over 1,000 fresh wallets in this thing. I mean, I for me, that's just like has risk written all over it, right? It's not a very safe project with that many fresh wallets in it. Why won't GMGN let me? Okay, there we go. We can pull down the. And again, they're saying 94% phishing wallets in there. This is like very, very bad. And then they're giving 100% chance of a rug. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, this project just like it kind of came out of nowhere, and it really hasn't. I don't see the reason for the pumpage besides it being supply controlled. Is my point. Like that's why it's pumped, and it's totally like developer controlled. I'm not sure who the devs are behind it. And I don't really see anyone shilling this project either on X, but we can check. We can just do a search and see. We can see who's shilling. Looks like Crypto Chaos, 3K account. Someone named Nico, 4K. Okay, now this Nova, this is a person I follow, and I they're good at checking allocations too. She says it's a bundled scam, 98% bundled. Don't buy. If you have issues seeing whether it's a scam or not, you should stop trading meme coins. Again, if someone holds 98% of the supply in a token at launch, like just run away, right? There's no reason anyone should hold that much of supply. Now, this scam has taken some time to play out. Like maybe they're trying to bait more people into it, perhaps, before pulling the rug. But you're not going to beat the team when they have that much supply, right? Maybe you got a pump out of this, right? Maybe you got a pump, but eventually they're going to take it back for the people who think this is a long-term hold, because they're just not doing much development. They're not posting regularly. I don't see a lot of development work here for this project. Okay, Katie, justice for Katie Fox. Again, I'm not sure the story of Katie Fox. Maybe a person who, did they pass away or something? Have to look at the story. Right? But typically these tokens kind of, when someone dies or a pet dies or something, they kind of have a life, for a short period of time. Woman has died after being stabbed in the neck in Birmingham. So this was a story, I think, in the UK, like a stabbing event in the UK. And again, sometimes people create tokens on this. Kind of sick in my eyes to profit off someone's death, unless her family did this or something, right? But if it's just like some random netizens, profiting off this person's horrible death, not good, right? Not good. And the price action, obviously this was bundled after, after it migrated, right? It bundled, for sure. So not again, if we want to look at, there's been a little bit of news with what were those tokens competing with each other? I'll pull this up because this was like earlier today. Okay, so with KitKat, right? With KitKat, what they've done is, let me see here if I can get my post. Okay, when you trust BitLord and James Wynn to run your token, and they delete the community Telegram. So what they did is they were running a competing KitKat, and this is the chart on it. It looks like essentially it's been rugged at this point, right? Here it is. It's got 161K left, right? The chart looks rug to rugville, and so what they did is deleted the Telegram, and his excuse, BitLord's excuse was it was overrun with scammers hijacking community links with foreign malware, right? And this is something that's easily solved, guys. If you know anything about Telegram, right? We have bots installed in the chat in the CRM in cryptorugmunch chat, which mitigates a lot of this. And then if you have like 3 or 4 developers working, they can handle this, right? This is not something that like you're going to be overrun by if you stay on top of it, right? If you have like 1 or 2 competent people in the chat watching for this stuff, the bots take care of most of it, and then the humans can take care of the rest that the bots don't get. So, don't believe BitLord's excuse here that they couldn't control the Telegram, because thousands of crypto projects have Telegram accounts and they're able to control the spam and the scams and stuff. So I don't buy it for a second. And again, that's what happens when you trust BitLord and James, leverage trader Win, who keeps getting wrecked and just wants more funds to play in the casino with, right? That's really all these guys want. It's just more money. Let's look at the other Kit Kat though. Now on Friday, I was a little more optimistic on the chart on this one. But again, it's kind of scammed out as it likely was to, over the weekend. Now, when I looked at it Friday, the chart was like up here. Again, it's kind of just dumped over the weekend. And these projects, remember Kit Kat, they kind of have a time life, like an expiration date on them, right? Once a story kind of moves out of the news cycle and people lose interest, that's kind of when they dump, right? So this story is kind of, people are moving on from this story, right? And it's not likely that this project's going to have long-term success, in my view. It's kind of like last week's news or 2 weeks ago's news at this point. And again, you can see that by the scammers, BitLord and James Wynn exiting their project, right? They can kind of see the writing on the wall, as can some of the community members in the main project as well. Not likely to do well for this project or either project in the long term, in my view. Just people are going to kind of move on. We talked about, I kind of did a post about Peanut here. Peanut, it has survived since it started, but you have to remember, Peanut at one point got to $2.4 billion in market cap. We're never going to see that kind of market cap again for Peanut, right? We're now at 122 million. You're just never going to see it return to those all-time highs, because the attention's moved on from this story. People like don't really even associate, probably, like if you're new to crypto and you heard this meme, you might not even associate it with the event anymore. It just might be like, the squirrel meme at this point, right? Because people kind of forgot what happened. The owner behind it launched multiple scams. I mean, so he didn't really back the project in the long term either. He wasn't backing it. So you can kind of see, some of these memes from last year, they're still around, but they're just not gonna probably do as well as they initially did ever again. And we could look at even Moodang as another example. If you guys want to look at Moodang, if you remember that one, that was a big meme last year around this time too. And again, still holding strong at a 94 million market cap, and it did have a pump this summer back in May. But it's unlikely in my eyes to ever approach that 700 million mark again, just because the attention, Moodang is no longer a baby hippo anymore, right? It's grown up, even though it's a pygmy hippo, it's grown up. So it's not like this little cute hippo that's getting news stories every day anymore, like it was when this meme first came out, right? So it would need to get back into the news, I think. Very cool though. This project, it still has a lot of holders in it. 60 almost 70,000 holders. But that's just kind of how memes go, guys. It needs to the relevancy needs to be maintained somehow for these prices to go back up. There are some that have done have reached all-time highs recently, and another one I hold because I do feel like it has the potential to break its all-time high this cycle still, would be SPX 6900. We did see it break its all-time high just back in July. I feel like it could have another push above that still this cycle. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking at memes, is the ability for it to reach its all-time high and break it again. With something like Peanut, something like Moodang, I don't really see that with those projects. Pull up the chat again. The Shiba scam from Dallas. Okay, I'll talk about the Shiba scam. Yeah, I'll mention that. Let's look at Dallas's scam. Okay, so this actually, I think the Spanish community, if there's anyone from Spain here listening, shout out to you, because every time I post on this character Dallas review, I get a lot of interactions from the Spanish community. So there's a lot of hate for this guy in the Spanish community. And if you look at this post, it got 51,000 views, 791 likes. This is one of the best posts I've had in several months, right? So I'm going to be honest about that. That's great of the Spanish community. And it's because I posted about this character Dallas review. He has 10 million followers on YouTube. and he's created multiple scams, which I've covered in the past. But this is his latest, Sheena. And again, I mean, this is the bubble maps for Sheena. Just like a ridiculous web of scam. And someone else posted like a follow up that like shows like these are all connected to like a singular scam wallet too, right, guys? So it's just like pathetic. He wasn't able to like hide any of his scamming here. And if we look at the chart on Sheena, and I believe like he didn't even pay for the DEX listing on this one or anything. Down another 37% on the day. He didn't pay for the DEX screener logo or anything like that. Right? It's just the the standard thing. There's no links to the socials or website. Just bad. Okay, let's see here. Now Dallas at one point had blocked me, but I think he's just protected his post now. But he has blocked me as well. He did try to enter our Telegram, and defend one of his scams, and I kind of shut him down and blocked him from the Telegram too. So he's like the type of person who will like take offense from a 60K account, calling him out and like try to like explain his way out of it. But when the evidence is there, he simply just gets mad and blocks, right? He'll get mad and block. He does also like to threaten people who call him out as well. He kind of realized that didn't really work with me and just decided to block me I think about a year ago. But anyway, again, shout out to the Spanish community. We'll keep calling out Dallas if he keeps scamming for sure, because no one else is really covering his scams, and he does have quite a large voice, and not just in Spain, right? He has listeners in countries which have less income than Spain, like Venezuela or Mexico, right? These countries also listen to him, and the last thing, to me, if you're scamming people in Spain who can recover from it, and they're foolish enough to like listen to your scam, that's on them. But like if you're scamming people in lesser developed countries that don't have the income to recover, it's really taking advantage of the poor, and that to me is a problem with Dallas. Is like it's not just him taking advantage of people in Spain; it's him taking advantage of people in countries where they cannot recover even $50 if they lose it. So this is to me not good, and why I keep calling him out, right? While I keep calling out people like Dallas for doing this, and he's done it so many times too, guys. It's not like his second scam; it's like his 10th scam, right? It's his like 10th effort at scamming. It's kind of funny. He tried to get who was it? Oh yeah, Notch. Now Notch, I believe, so like he was trying to get like his community to like respond, this Notch character respond to his community, and they did, and then Notch was like, oh yeah, it's a scam. I think Notch was like, let me see what he did. I thought he says he developed Levers and Chess, a game, but I thought he developed I can't remember what game he developed, but more serious, like, oh yeah, Minecraft. He might have been the Minecraft developer actually. But anyway, his response, just like a short little response there, got 5,000 retweets, 30,000 likes, right? So again, people know that Dallas is a scammer, right? At this point, it's widely known, and even by people like Notch, right, who have no interest in participating in Dallas's shenanigans, are being tagged by his community. Okay, so that's Dallas's rug, Sheena, which will eventually rug out. Any other news? James Wynn keeps getting liquidated. The market keeps turning against him here. What else? I think that's pretty good. This Toshi Bet. I would recommend people be cautious of Toshi Bet. There was a report this weekend of them refusing to pay like an 80K win to someone, and the person who posted it deleted their post eventually, but I think it was because they were paid off to do that. And this is another post I received from someone like late last year claiming that Toshi had refused to pay them like 27.5K on a win, and like the person was going through chemotherapy and stuff. At the time I didn't really post it, just because like I'm not really into the casino space very much. But I do, if other people are seeing these reports too, I am going to share it with the community. I hope this person was eventually paid. They posted publicly on their wall about this too. I did see, like, kind of worryingly, like their last post was in April. So like, who know, they were going through chemo. This was last year. So I don't know what's happened with this person. I do hope that Toshi paid them. But again, just be mindful, guys, when you're on these online casinos. If you don't have a large following and they refuse to pay you on a win, there's only so much you can do. And like Toshi's probably done this to other people too, and they just didn't have the following to get their money, right? To get their money out of it. So I'm not gonna like become the person who tries to keep casinos honest, really, because you have to assume offshore online casino, there's not much honesty going on there, right? They don't want you to know like who the people are behind these casinos often. And it's often a company based out of the Cayman Islands or something, where you're not going to be able to like sue them in court, in an American court, or a court in Europe or somewhere, to get your money if they don't pay it, right? It's just you're kind of you're at their whim unless you can apply pressure to them, and not everyone's able to do that, right? Not everyone's able to like just make these people pay or to keep them fair, and that's to say nothing about like whether the games themselves are actually fair, whether they've been rigged. It's just like just getting the win when you get it. Very difficult to get anyway, and then getting them to pay you once it happens. So not to be trusted, really, these online casinos. That's why I've never really reffed for one. Is like for me, I don't really like playing a lot to begin with. I've had great success gambling, and it looks bad to have like this like casino check in your name. It just shows kind of how desperate you are, right? At this point in time, because the market's not good, right? So obviously these people aren't making money trading, so they need a way to make some money, and they're shilling for these casinos, which aren't keeping their end of the stick or end of the bargain when people are winning. So let's look at another project, another story here. This was okay. This is kind of fucked up. This person had founded Fintopia. His founder, Roman Novak, and his wife, and they were based out of Dubai. They had been found murdered and dismembered in Dubai. And this person had reportedly raised $500 million in funds. And he gained notoriety in Russia's crypto space by claiming to have ties to Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram. Kind of a fucked up tale there. But it just shows that in crypto, you have to be very careful with doxing yourself and trusting who you do business with, right? It sounded like this person was murdered when they opened his wallet and couldn't find the money, right? So they just decided to murder him rather than deal with tracking down those wallets or whatever. So just a horrible story, but it does sound like he was involved in scamming as well, right? And maybe he angered some people over the years too. Who knows what this guy had gotten into, but it doesn't sound like it was good. Another death in the crypto space this week here was Farouk Ozur. If I pronounced this wrong, I apologize. Farouk Fatih Ozur. He was the ex-CEO of Thodex, and he gained some popularity or gained some fame in the West because of the sentence he'd received. He received like a 11,200 year sentence for collapsing an exchange. In our country, we sentence people like Sam Bankman-Fried to like 25 years. So this is like, this got a lot of news in the West at the time because of this, the severity of the sentence for one. And then, just this was like around the time Sam Bankman-Fried had been sentenced to 25 years, and then CT got a slap on the wrist, and now he's been pardoned. This guy didn't have it so easy, right? Now he's ended up dead in a Turkish prison cell. I do believe they suspected suicide, but it wasn't like officially announced yet. And even his death wasn't really announced. It happened on November 1st, and I didn't really see reports about it until this weekend. So not a good ending for him. And I wonder whether he was murdered or whether, he actually committed suicide. Kind of one of those things, hopefully they have a bit of evidence there. The security cameras were working, unlike the night Epstein passed away. Okay, let's look back at a few more stories. There any other? Oh yes, Richard Hart has announced the launch of a new project. And again, it's one of those deals with Richard. I'm not a big fan of Richard just because he's like kept so much of the funds from his other projects under his belt, and the yield he's promising, it requires many new suckers. And Richard's, I I don't know, his reputation hasn't kept up with the ability to increase the amount of people in his project, basically, right? Like he needs constantly to have new people coming in, and he was wanted by Interpol. I can't remember what the yield he is promising on Hex is, but if we look back at like stable coins, so-called stable coins like Luna, right, where they were giving 20% away a year, that's found to be unsustainable at this point, and those projects have collapsed. Now, Hex won't collapse necessarily because it's just math. It's just going to keep creating new tokens, but in order for the price to go up, right, people need to not be selling the tokens that they earn through yield. So that's my rant against Hex is like, just thinking about it logically, you wouldn't think that the price would go up because the yield's being paid out constantly, right? And without new people, you're just going to get inflation of the token over time, right? And it's not going to be as valuable. So I would never expect like Hex to return to its all-time highs. Now with Pulse, it may, with Pulse, the Pulse chain, whatever that token is, it may go to its high because Richard has a lot of ETH if he were to deploy that ETH and put it into the project. But thus far, he's kind of been like swishing that money through Tornado Cash. You don't see him doing much except spending money, right? Like I see a lot of pictures of Richard, having all these bags where he's not gone shopping, and people will claim, oh, this is rage marketing on behalf of Richard, right? But he does wear the clothes and crap he buys, the ugly Louis Vuitton stuff. A lot of the interviews he appears in, even right here, he's like wearing Louis Vuitton shorts, right? So it's not like he's like not wearing the stuff he buys. He buys this crap because he likes it, right? There he is, wearing like this hideous, like Louis Vuitton. He's got all his Louis Vuitton crap around him.
Because I'm not all about gold.
I'm
an investment.
Just to me, it seems like he could make that claim that he's doing this to like enrage people, but at the same time, he regularly wears like this hideous, these hideous Louis Vuitton clothes that he, he obviously likes this style, right? It's not like he's doing this just to make everyone angry, right? It doesn't even really make me that angry to see Richard doing this. It's money that his community is giving him, not me, right? Okay, all right. Let's see if I can if I'm good enough now to like remove a spam comment here from the chat, or if there's the ability to do that. Doesn't look like there is. I think I could go on Twitch and then like delete the comment. Anyway, ignore the spammers comment, please, in the chat. There's not a lot of people really chatting today here, but let's go back. If we got any other stories to look at before I kind of close out. Oh, this is interesting. Singapore, to introduce this punishment for scamming, they're going to do caning on scammers, right? They plan to cane scammers. I believe that if they started caning scammers in Western countries as well, we would see a very sharp reduction in the number of people doing this kind of activity. Maybe I wouldn't be as busy with my work either. But again, this is something that Singapore has done for ages. They've done caning as a form of punishment, not just for scamming, for other things as well too. So it's a little more culturally accepted by their people than it would be, if we started caning people in the U.S. or like the U.K. Okay, interesting here. This is Believe. Again, Believe has had 0 graduates. Believe is a launch pad similar to like Pump or, Bags. But they've had 0 graduates since this flywheel has gone live. Kind of pathetic, really, for a launch pad to like have 0 graduates, not even be able to graduate a token. Okay, I think that's probably about it. There, again, there's more, I guess, rage marketing by Richard here, but obviously, right, putting the community's money to good use by buying all this stuff. Now, it's not to say that Richard didn't have money prior to like getting into crypto. He was involved in like spam marketing or a marketing agency before, or owner of a marketing agency, and he was sued in small claims court for spamming people. I think he had to pay like $500 or something for that. But he does have some history, like being a spammer, right? They were also sending Hex cards to people to show, like, to get them invested. I think they got like a mailing list And they're like sending out postcards for people to buy hex. Not the most ethical way of advertising a project, in my opinion. All right, I think that's probably about it, guys. In terms of news, like market news, and maybe a rundown of the market. I will be back tomorrow with an AMA for you all, and hopefully a little bit more news on our CMC listing. I'm kind of waiting for a reply from the person that's helping us with that. I'll make an announcement either way. If we don't go with the CMC listing, we'll end up going with the marketing option, right? And then maybe getting a little more money, and then doing the CMC listing at that point. So it's not something I'm going to give up on, guys. I'm not going to give up on any aspect of this project, and I do hope the community has a bit of faith in me to see it through, right? I've kind of expanded our broadcast here. Let's see how we're doing right now before we close out the show. Again, we're up 2% on the day. We're at $222,000 in market cap, and we've got about $10,000 in volume. Looks like someone purchased about $65 here just a couple moments ago. So appreciate that if they're listening right now. If you're not invested yet, or if you haven't got involved yet, please check out our website at cryptorugmunch.com. You can join our Telegram. It's t.me/cryptorugmunch. Please give us a follow from whatever platform you're listening from. If you're on X, if you're on X, Kick, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, wherever you are, please give us a follow, because we're trying to grow our following on these platforms as well, to get more viewers into these streams. And I think that's about it for me today, guys. I appreciate everyone who's tuned into this broadcast today. And I will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time, for our weekly AMA for the project. I'll be here to answer all your questions, give you some updates. Again, I'll probably have a website updated for you before the AMA, and then I will also have a Discord server going by that time, and I'll put up a link for that probably later today for you all. I hope everyone has a good day. Thank you for tuning in. And again, our next broadcast for the daily rug will be Wednesday at 11 Central Time, if you just want to tune into that and skip the AMA. But I encourage you, don't skip the AMA, right? We want to have as many listeners as we can to these AMAs. So thank you again for tuning in, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.